Welcome back, Ultima Weapons. It's the Night Sky Prince again, and I just played the Final Fantasy XV Terra Wars Collab event. It was just released for Final Fantasy XV for the promotion of Terra Wars. Unlike previous events that were activated in the game's menu, this Collab event is actually triggered by a switch located in Dusky. If you need instructions on how to get there, just look at your map and look for a purple quest icon. You can simply set your car to auto drive there and you'll be there in a flash. Once you get there, you'll be greeted by Sarah, who is easily a top tier waifu. Her voice acting is actually really pleasant and honestly drew me into her character. The character model for her is actually really nicely presented, and you can tell there was a lot of effort here. To be honest, the quality of art here looks a lot better than what's even in the main game. The environment here is really beautiful, and I really enjoyed the art style. While Noctis is initially standoffish towards Sarah for, honestly, no apparent reason whatsoever, sometimes I feel like he's a little too quick to snap on her for no reason, almost to a point where it's slightly out of character, though I suppose at one point or another you'll see that he does sort of have his reasons. However, after that's out of the way, Sarah and Noctis quickly develop a pretty decent relationship. In fact, at some parts this actually feels downright flirty between the two, which, next to Iris, is yet another girl that Square Enix has decided to give more time developing a genuine relationship that you can see evolving on screen as, the characters are actually in the same space and not using a dog to communicate. Overall, this feels more congruent and less forced than what's in the game with the canon heroine. I also absolutely hate these tiny little things called the Hiso aliens. Much like a Pokemon, they can only say their name, which Sarah can then magically understand and then translates it to Noctis. But rather than have this streamlined in the way that it's wrote, they actually repeat Hiso Hiso over and over again, and then your captions provide a translation. It makes me wonder what would happen if you actually just turned the captions off. Would the game then force the captions to appear? However, other than this, the dialogue between Noctis and Sarah flows pretty well. The only downside to this event is that it's actually rather short. Surprisingly, it's mostly cutscenes and not that many battles. There's only a handful of battles, and the entire event should only take you around 1 hour to complete, which is actually really sad because just as you're really beginning to enjoy the atmosphere and the music, and a final boss battle that is better designed and more memorable than most of the ones in the game itself, it's soon all over. Which is honestly a shame, because I would have loved to see it go on a little bit longer. That said, this event did do a good job on getting me interested in the Terra franchise. I also couldn't help but wonder more about Sarah's character. I deeply long for a Mistwalker game on console. It reminded me of just how good Mistwalker's console games were. Unfortunately, when I looked into the gameplay of Terra Wars, I couldn't exactly call what I found to be terribly impressive. In fact, I'm actually incredibly confused on how what I just played ties into this. That's Terra Wars. It doesn't look too impressive. Or hey, maybe I'm tasteless and I just need further education on the franchise. Or maybe Sakaguchi and Mistwalker just need a little bit more funding and development support. I bet they could see their old friends at Square Enix for that now that those communication lines are open. I'd love to see them take what I've seen of this world so far and then turn it into a proper console game. With JRPGs on the rise more now than ever, it really would only make sense if they decided to team up, even for a new IP, or let Sakaguchi and his team make Final Fantasy XVI. Overall, I recommend giving the Terra Wars event a try. It was honestly pretty fun, and it adds an hour to the game that you already own. And it's completely free. I enjoyed it and found it to be pretty relaxing to play through, and anyone who's at least past Chapter 5 in the game can enjoy this event right now. So Ultima Weapons, what I want to know is, does this make you crave a new Mistwalker game that is actually on consoles? A console where JRPGs really sell, like PlayStation 4? Are you more interested in the Terra franchise more than ever now? Subscribe, click the bell icon, and let your voice be heard in the comments below. And if you really love Mistwalker, I mean really love Mistwalker, be sure to head on over to our Facebook group, Ultima, Square Enix plus JRPGs. It's the best non-Final Fantasy Final Fantasy on the internet. Link in the description below.